class name prop from here down into this button down here. We are extracting the children, but we're not passing anything else down. So you could do it like this, where you extract the class name. However, there's other props that I also want to apply to the button, like maybe submit or pretty much everything else that you're gonna see here. If you hit Control Space, these are all the different props and that are already present on the button that you want to make sure you have. You might want to do area label, right? So you can just spread all the rest out up here at the top with other props like that. Give it any name you want. I'll pick that. And then we can just apply it here. So I can say ... other props. Let's hit save. And now you're going to see that that button actually turned blue. Okay, cool. However, we want to actually use base UI to create this rather than kind of manually adding all of the different props that we might need. So in the next episode, we will finish up creating this button, make it look all nice, having that new morphism style. But I just quickly wanted to show you how you can mess around with Tailwind and the layering system here. Also, I should note that Tailwind works in these layers. So you have layer team, but there's other layers, for example, the base layer. So if you want to add any styles that are like generally applied to the website, you can use the base layer. Like that's the top level. And then you have an underlying layer. That's the component layer. So if you want something specific for a component, and then you have the utility layer. So it kind of takes priority like that. It goes base, it goes components, and then it goes utilities. All right, so this will have priority over this, and this will have priority over this. Okay, so if you add a specific style, this will apply before this will apply. Okay, but just to keep it simple, we're not really gonna need much other than the team here and maybe the base layer. So you can call this layer base. And for now, let's just add the background colors that we defined up here. So I want to select the HTML on the body. There we go. And I can do normal CSS here, but if I want to apply using like Tailwind stuff, I can use this apply directive like this. Apply, and then I can do BG background, so just normal Tailwind code and text foreground. So save, and did you see that? The background became slightly darker. And we can also test this if it worked by just going up here, grabbing the background color and just darkening this up a little bit, 500. See, it works. Awesome. So just wanted to give you a quick intro to how the layering system works here in Tailwind and kind of having the base button setup. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, we are ready to start creating our button. So let's head over to our button TSX. And let's see how we can use the base UI button rather than the native button that we are given here in HTML. So let's head over here to the return statement. Let's just remove this for now. I'll keep props in there, but let's just get rid of it. And let's get rid of everything in here, essentially. And start all fresh. Okay, so here's how we can do it. We define an element variable, and then we can import the use render functionality here from base UI. And as you can see, it says this renders a base UI element. So anything that you want to render, you can do it through this use render little method that they give you. So this takes in an object, and if we expand it, we have a default tag name here. And
most people jump in transitions, copy-paste snippets from Stack Overflow, or things off. We need to create our React application. So VS Code, and I want to run the call latest version. I'm going to press Y, and it's going to inside of. Then I'm going to select React as the framework. I'm going to select JavaScript. You can use TypeScript. You can use whatever else option you want, but I'll choose JavaScript to make it inclusive for everyone. Then I'll choose No for roll down Vite. and yes to install all packages and start on the local project run. This should be permission library. Now, like I've said in the beginning of this video, the most popular ecosystem combination and it's the animation is going to be pretty much the exact same thing. It's an animated element. Now, I want to explain if the parts are, it makes it super relevant in your page if it doesn't have this motion before it. This is not only good because you're able to animate the element by using the package, but also because it makes it super easy for you to know which parts of your code is animated and which. Because it makes it element now including the one animative. Start from absolute scratch so that you guys can think. So you don't 9 p.m. calling. We're gonna open up and I'm gonna install app motion. Now when that's done, including the ones. What does this mean? It means that you're basically setting this component, this element up for being a animated element. So you can't animate an element in your page if it doesn't have this motion before it. This is not only good because you're able to animate the element by using the package, but also because it makes it super easy for you to know which parts of your code is animated and which parts aren't. Because before it, is going to fake nothing happen. We'll configure it this way. Method of animating is going to for you want to make the initially set and have an opacity of 0 is that if I refresh the page because we haven't set an end state, you see that it technically what it's called 0 opacity to being 2. There isn't really much change. You see that
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
It does have a small fading effect. So that includes a control how long. So the transition prop control, let's try to make it see how coding to work. If I refresh this, you see that it does take 2 seconds to go. But if I want to make something in a fair value, if I were to put this kind of animation in a website, I think something in the lines of 0.8 seconds actually is the perfect amount. Perfect. Now you get motion. Now motion slightly more complex. Fading in movement. There's different. So make it go from left to down. You have an XY plan. Because instead put it in the center of the page, right? Whatever position, add 100 to it, so it would be around here. And
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And that would be the start positioning. The final position, we want it to be actually where it is right now, right? So there's no distance from it. So you can put a Y equal to it's supposed to be. And it's gonna basically means that no distance from it. So you can put a Y equal to 0, which basically means that it's gonna start 100 pixels lower than what it's supposed to be. And it's gonna end 0 pixels lower than what it's supposed to be, which means it's gonna end up where I also value because then it's going to start 100 pixels above. So if I refresh this, you see that it does that. Now 100 pixels for me seems like too much. So instead of 100, also make it from the left to right. So if you use an X value over here, you see that if I refresh this, it's slightly working one with animation, but the
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The thing is not property control how where the long and that times very in the middle here is because also not be noted and fast. If I remove this slow and then it ends fast, it kind of looks like it's literally falling on. Now what it does is it starts fast and it ends slow. It's like braking to a gentle stop. So I would say that this is very cool section. The first thing that appears on your, it literally starts fast and it just ends. When you're doing however or the you can set sure to put the motion in front. It already has some CSS that comes with it. Having a set. I can set by using if I want to make it such so if I want to make it grow 5% bigger when I hover it, I can set a scale of 1.05, which all it stands for is it becomes 1.05 times bigger. Now when I hover it, you see it does have that effect. It gets a lot bigger. If I make this 1.55, you can notice it even more, right? Now, you can do other things as well. You can even move this element. I can make it such that when I hover it, the y-axis of it is gonna actually go down 2 pixels. So when I hover it, it's very hard to see, but it does move it. If I make it 20, it moves up. As you can see, it's kind of jumps up. Now, this replaces having to put a hover up. As you can see, it's kind of jump. You can do the tapping event. Also, usually when you have a button like this and you have a, I'll make it smaller. I'll make it 1.05 smaller, right? So what I want to do is I'll make it such that when I tap it, it's going to be 0.9 of its original scale. So it's a little bit bigger. I tap on it, it gets smaller. See, now the Y direction here, when I tap on it, I want it to actually go up on lots animation process in your, because a button has to position happen. Now there are a couple types. I'll go over some of them. Now the main one is the spring type. And basically it means that the animation will move like a real physical spring. A spring, if you don't know, is just like a, how do you even say that? It's like an elastic object that you can like move. You can put it under stress, you can press it and it bounces back. So it's an actual spring. And what that does is that it, a spring usually overshoots how it bounces back. It has that actual bounce and it feels a lot natural. And because it's real physics, you don't have to set an animation to how long you want this animation to work, because in physics, physics defines that, right? So for it to hover this or to press it, it actually feels more realistic. Now, I know all of that is a bit difficult to see right off the bat, but you'll be able to get notice of that as you move on with your animations. And also because you can change a little bit about how this animation is. For example, a spring is just that elastic thing that I talked to you guys about that you can press and it bounces back. You can actually define how stiff or how tight that spring is, which means that it might make it an animation faster, more aggressive, or it can make it go softer. To do that, you can pass a stiffness property, and the stiffness is a value. You can play around with the values of stiffness. It's a number. As you can see, higher values will create more sudden movement. By default, it's at 100. But if you want to make it, for example, very, very snappy, you can set it to 300. It's quite good for UI buttons. You see that when I press on it, it's a lot more snappy, right? It looks like it's a real spring, which is pretty cool. If I want to set it to like 900, you'll see it's a lot more abrupt, right? It does look like a spring, but it's not like a real button. If I want to set it to something, if I want to see a value, you can make how stiff or how tight that spring is, which means that it might make it an animation faster, more aggressive, or it can make it go softer. To do that, you can play around with movement. By default, it's set to 300. It's quite good for UI buttons. You see that when I press on it, it's a lot like a spring, but it's not like a real button. When I set it to something lower, like below 100, like 50, then it's barely moving, because then it's a very small spring that doesn't really bounce. So I think 300 is the perfect amount for buttons in your UI. Now there's more that you can do. You can also control how quickly the spring will settle, because springs, they obviously bounce, but then they keep bouncing because they are a spring, and then until physics stops them. And the name for that is dampness set. If you put low, very little. So 0, the spring will just oscillate forever. Now let's forever. Now to stop 0, I'll put it bouncing and 15. That's why I make it like, it doesn't annoy. It bounces just an animated button on all of my animated projects. Now this button is a component, and the only difference here is, actually let me just change this, is the fact that it is perfectly reusable. Why? Because first of all, if I want to change the label of the button, I can just pass a different children here, and then it will change it down here. That means that I can have multiple buttons that has the same kind of property to it, but why did I write that? Okay, this. But they have different labels. And the second thing is I can actually make it such that the animation properties can also be very easily changed. So I set a prop here for the stiffness and the damping, and I set the default values that I like, which is 315, as the default values in the prop. But then whenever I want to change this, for example, if I wanted to make this second button over here have a stiffness of, I don't know, actually I'll put a damping of 0, then this one looks like this, but then this one has a damping of 0 and continues infinitely. You know what I mean? So I always recommend making something like this so that it makes it easier for you to just keep making the same elements, the same kind of animations, but reusing them throughout your application. Okay, now we're going to talk about one of the topics that most people, when they're learning animation, especially using motion as the framework, they get confused about, and this is what differentiates you from like being just a beginner who understands animation and actually leveling up. And what I'm talking about is we're going to learn about variants and staggered animations. Now, what are variants? Variants is kind of like a named set of animation states.
Ten, nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten, 9, 7, 6. Ten, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Ten, 9, 8, 7. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.